All right, so pleasant morning to our viewers. This segment is just questions and answers. Any type of questions, well, health questions, of course, and answers that you would like, you will be able to share that now with me. And for the next half an hour, we're going to just be answering questions, any type of health questions. It could be questions on nutrition, on water intake, on exercise, on sleep, anything that comes to mind. You can ask. You can just send us a comment, and I'll be able to look at answering those questions for you. Of course, we started a live recently, and that was about is it just for sick people? Now, this is basically talking about health in general. Some persons wait until they become sick, then to go somewhere to actually get health. But this is not just for sick people. This is basically for everyone. So what we want to look at is working on more preventing diseases in the first place. And when you prevent disease, it gives you a chance, of course, of number one, saving money. I know a lot of you might actually want to save money, and also as well, it gives you a chance of where you will be able to, to take care of the families that are around you. So what I would say, any health questions that you desire, that you would like to ask, you can just send me a comment here. I'll put up the question and then we'll get down into some of the information. Now, of course, you'll see this particular picture and it says, tired of being constipated. I know there are a lot of persons that generally get constipated. So we'll actually be looking at some of the causes and some of the treatments that you can do. Okay, so yes. Right. So welcome again, of course, to those that are now joining us for the first time. Ask your questions now. This is your time to ask your questions. I'm seeing Mr. Peter Delis that is on. Thank you for coming, but send us a little question. So as we get down into some of those answers, you'll be able to share it with your friends and family. Share this live now so that persons can join in. Just going to let the live build up a bit. As it reaches around close to 5 persons, then we're going to start answering some of the questions here. So, as you see here, our decisions determines our destiny. Right. So whatever decisions you make right now will determine the destiny that your health or let's say whatever comes into mind. So whatever decisions you make right now will determine where you're going to end up. So if you make a decision to not exercise or to basically eat certain things that may cause harm to you or drink certain things that may cause harm to you, then definitely it will determine your destiny. If you make a decision of going down a certain path of using certain substances that may cause a lot of harm to you, then it's going to lead on to, for example, there are persons that will use things like alcohol. This is something I would definitely say to be careful of. There are so many different side effects that may come. So our first question comes from Vanessa Thompson, and she says, if I want to start on a health drive, what should be my first step? Okay. This actually should be your first step. The first step is actually to take a decision to start. All right, because most persons will want to get healthy, but the problem is they don't know how to start and they don't know when to start. From the time you make that decision that, hey, I want to start something, I would say the first thing that we'll do is to check the human body. So number one, persons basically will want to know, okay, what their blood count is like, if my liver is functioning properly, if my kidneys is functioning properly, how's my heart functioning. So you wanna look at diagnosing, right? So you wanna look at the steps of checking your vitals first, and then you'll be able to start that journey. The other step is to start looking at information, getting knowledge. So getting knowledge determines upon, of course, we have a lot of different questions coming in. So getting knowledge, you need to find out exactly why you're making that particular decision. So you look at some goals. You'll have goals that you'll set for yourself. Either you want to lose weight, you want to put on weight, you want to get healthier, or you just generally want to try something new, right? Some persons actually go wrong into that. So the first step I would say is to check to see your overall health of your body. And that overall health check is to look at your blood work. You can do scans as well to see exactly what's taking place in the body. So I hope that that answer was precise, but as we go along, we're going to share more into it. Next question, again, could I eat junk to treat myself, like maybe on weekends? Now, that is a particular question that you could actually answer for yourself. So in other words, but other than that, what I would say, you definitely have to be careful, because if you're on a health journey, you don't want to mess up the health journey. Right? Your human body is like this. If you start cleansing, you need to put in the right stuff. And if you're not putting in the right stuff while you're cleansing, you're going to feel worse. You're going to feel sick. You're actually going to stop the procedure that you already started. You're going to stop the journey that you already started. So when you start a particular journey, you want to try and be as serious on the journey as possible as you can, because you want to reach a goal. And if it is that you stop in between the goal and cheat and eat junk food or anything like that, then you come like you're stopping the goal, or you're adding back stuff that your body already tried to get rid of. Next question here. What's a big constipator? All right. So, of course, what can cause most constipation is anything that doesn't have fiber in it. All right. So why would say that anything that doesn't have fiber? Because the colon depends upon fiber to get rid of any toxic waste from the body, from the colon, and it also forms a bulk in the colon. So number one will be flour. Everybody loves bread, baked biscuits, roti. Basically, everybody loves flour. But what I would say, the problem is not it's not flour only. You're looking at also the amount of animal foods that person will be bringing in as well. So the flesh, meats, milk, cheese, most of them would contain basically no levels of fiber in it. And if you don't get fiber, then automatically you're putting pressure on the colon. So the first thing you want to monitor, that could be a big contributing factor to a lot of persons, because most persons that come in, that comes with constipation, and the first question I ask them is, do you love bread? And that would be the resounding yes. From the time they actually start cutting down on the amount of flour, they actually feel a difference. And then you add things like flaxseed and chia seed. You can do 2 tablespoons of flaxseed or chia seed. You can blend that up with either some water. You can blend that with also some greens as well. And that works pretty good for bowel movement. Now, water intake, if you don't drink enough water, you can eat all the fiber that you can think about. But if you don't drink enough water, that lubricant, that helps to keep the colon lubricated and keeps the feces moving. Once you don't drink enough water, automatically you're going to have constipation. Another thing as well, to some persons may have had stroke. And with that stroke, of course, the nervous system is what controls what we call the peristalsis movement, or the movement of the bowels. From the time a person had a stroke, or if they cause any damage to the nerves, automatically they start getting problems going off. Now, some persons may have been using a lot of laxative. Laxative would be anything that stimulates the bowel to go. For example, some person will use castor oil, some person will use psyllium husk. And if you do too much of those, automatically after a while, the colon becomes lazy or becomes weak. And that can also contribute to you becoming constipated. Now, there are many other contributing factors into it. The two main is if you're not drinking enough water and if you're not getting enough fiber. You also need essential fatty acids as well. That's like omega-3, 6, and 9. Omega-3, you get that those are fatty acids that's found in food. You get that directly from things like almonds and walnuts, flaxseed, chia seed. They tend to have a lot in that, and that works pretty good to help in the bowel movement. Just a little tip too, with the use of callaloo and a lot of okra in it, and that the slime, just the slime from the okra, it helps you to go nicely as well. Okay, so if you want me to expand on constipation, I can do that again, but we have some other questions coming up here. Good morning to Laura Thompson. From Vanessa again, can you advise on a diet and exercise for weight loss? Right, so that's actually a great question. Now, exercise, the best exercise for weight loss is high intensity exercise, meaning exercise that you don't just sit down, or you need to keep the body moving. So you can do like split seconds of running or fast movements. A good exercise, if you can get let's say like one of those small trampolines, you can bounce on that as fast as you can, and that brings about a high intensity exercise. It just takes about 10 minutes of that type of exercise, and that will actually start the process of weight loss. A diet for weight loss, most of what we see, a person use too much of unhealthy oils. So for example, like corn oil and soybean oils, canola oils. If you need to get healthy oils, you can use either coconut oil or olive oil. Olive oil, not to cook with. You can use coconut oil to cook with, and that actually works really good. Naturally, healthy fats will actually cause you to lose weight as well. So when you add in pumpkin seeds, when you add in the flax seeds, the chia seeds, when you add in basically things like almonds, walnuts, lots of vegetables. You need a lot of vegetables. Anything that doesn't contain a high amount of calorie in it naturally causes you to lose weight. Now, everybody's different. There are persons that will eat certain things and lose weight. There are certain persons that will eat certain foods and put on weight. But from what I've seen so far, anybody that uses a high amount of carbohydrates, so you're looking at from noodles to macaroni or too much of refined flour, automatically they start putting on weight. How that actually happens is it increases the amount of insulin within the body, and as insulin increases, weight increases as well. So just look at diabetics. They usually have a hard time losing weight on the body. All right, so the less sugars you use, the faster you actually lose weight. So you want to cut out heavy amount of cakes and sweet foods like soft drinks, or any amount of things like bread or carbohydrates. Another question from Kizzy Diaz here. Good morning. Why is it important to take care of your health when you are young? Well, of course, when you are young and you take care of your health, as you get older, you're going to stand a chance of getting rid of any heavy amount of toxic load on the body. You're going to look young as you get older. You're going to also take care of those organs, your liver, your kidneys, your heart. You're basically going to take care of the health of the brain. So if you start from young, then it gives you a chance of getting less diseases as you get older. So that's very, very importance of taking care of yourself as you're a young person. We know young persons generally, they eat any and anything, and then as they get older, then automatically they start getting little aches and pains and different things like that generally comes on. So if you start now, then you'll be able to protect yourself later on. You want to keep those organs functioning as healthy as they can. So start from young by drinking enough water, getting in exercise. Start from young by actually taking care of the mental health. A lot of persons nowadays are dealing with mental health issues, emotional issues. So from depression to anxiety and they are not looking for help. And I've seen person reach into the stage where they just generally become so depressed that they locked up themselves in a room and they don't want to come out of that room. And that by itself could cause you to develop so many different diseases, even memory loss after a while. Question here: what is the best way to get rid of mucus from your body? Of course, the best way to get rid of mucus is to stop the things that causes the mucus in the first place. Now, without mucus, you won't be able to protect certain organs. For example, you may see when person does like a cleanse, you're looking at, let's say, cleaning up the colon, you have the mucosal barrier itself. Right, just give me 1 second, and let me get a diagram to show you. All right, so I hope everyone can see this diagram. Okay. Right, nice. Right, so as we look at the digestive system, we look at the diagram itself. Now, in the large intestine, you have cells that would create small amounts of mucus, and that mucus is to protect the lining of the colon. Now, you'll notice when persons have a cold or cough, or generally when they get sick, they build up a lot of mucus. That particular mucus that builds up is to actually get rid of things like bacteria or viral issues or parasites. You'll actually, as you pass that out, as you, let's say, blow the nose, or you get rid of mucus from the colon, also your esophagus, it actually has also these cells that will create mucus as well. So that's why some person may feel like a little slime in the throat early in the morning. What would have happened there? I've seen person where they be in the area of the mucus itself. As mucus starts to form, you get rid of toxic waste through the mucus. So the best way to get rid of it, number one, you drink enough water. Number two, you can use certain stimulants that actually help with that. Well, not stimulants, certain herbs that actually help with that. For example, ginger, turmeric, garlic also works really good as well. Cayenne pepper also helps to get rid of mucus. What you could do, you could take about a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, you mix it in water itself, warm water, and you drink that early on a morning, and that helps to get rid of excess mucus. You can also use what we use at the clinic. It's called Super Tonic. Now, this is actually created, well, not created, this is made by one of our workers, and that works excellent to get rid of mucus from the human body. When I tell you excellent, because we have had person with asthma, we have had person with chronic bronchitis itself, the long issue, and after the use of that, it really works really good to get rid of mucus from those persons. So Super Tonic. To get more information on that, let me just add the phone numbers for that particular one, because that actually works really, really good for mucus. One of the best when it comes to dealing with mucus. But anything like ginger, turmeric, garlic, onions is excellent. You could actually take onions. You could slice up the onions, you put it in a little jar, and you put some honey in there and let that soak for a while. And when you let that soak for a while, you can take like a little tablespoon of that or a little teaspoon, and you can do that every morning, and that will also get rid of excess mucus from the body as well. And that works really good. All right, so question and answer segment. I'm seeing another question here. Is there such thing as you are tired a lot by what you eat? Okay, all right, I'm looking at the question again. Because of what you eat. Yes, definitely. All right, because certain foods that some persons eat, it can actually contribute to them becoming very tired. For example, you can actually test this out for yourself. Eat a heavy fatty meal and then go outside and try to run and see if you'll have enough energy to push out. Automatically, you won't be able to have enough energy to push out, because what fat does, it as unhealthy fat gets into the human body, it gets into the blood very quickly. And as it gets into the blood very quickly, it slows down the utilization of oxygen. Of course, you're getting oxygen coming into the body all the time, but it slows down the utilization of the oxygen. And as the oxygen starts to drop slowly, the blood becomes sluggish. So as the blood becomes sluggish, you start to feel a little tired. Now, if there are certain foods that you'll actually eat that give you energy, for example, you need sugar to help with that energy. Fats also help with energy as well. So I remember a time I took just a little teaspoon of coconut oil, and then I went to play football. I had energy for up to about 2 hours straight. I didn't eat anything, but that particular day, I had so much of energy running on that field. Of course, that was a younger time. But it just proved to me that either fats or sugar generally helps with energy. So a little fruit. If you know that you're going for a nice walk, a little exercise, a little fruit. Water intake is very important to actually helping with energy as well. There are a lot of persons that are dehydrated and they're looking for energy. Now the water is not getting into their cell, and automatically their energy level starts dropping. So yes, definitely whatever you eat can actually affect your energy in the human body. Another question here. Thank you for sharing this program. Okay, not a question. Thank you for sharing this program. Very informative. Last comment here. Thank you very much. Okay, so keep the questions rolling. Keep the questions rolling. So as we go along, now the first question was, I just want to go back to it as well. Okay, if I want to start a health drive, what should be my first step? So as I said before, you want to determine the health of your body. So you want to check your vitals, your blood pressure. You want to check your sugar. You want to check your blood count itself. You do what you call a CBC. That's a complete blood count, where it will check your white blood cells, your red blood cells, your platelets. It will basically check hemoglobin, which basically helps like iron within the body. With a combination of that, with a combination of also checking the liver, the spleen, the pancreas, checking those vital parts of the body will help you to determine how to start. And then before you start exercising, you need to monitor the heart. Very, very important, because some persons might start exercise and their heart is not functioning properly, and they end up in a stage where they either end up with heart attacks or things like stroke. So you want to be very mindful of that. And the other question that adds on to that first one was, you know, if they eat junk on a weekend, you need to be as serious as possible with your program. And as you become serious, you will get to understand how your body functions. Once you understand what you need to do, the factors of what caused the diseases in the first place, then you'll be able to start your health journey. So the first step, again, you look at what you're eating. You also look at your exercise. You also look at basically things like sleep. You want to improve on that. How do you improve on sleep? Going to bed early. Try not to put on the phone or the light in your face. All of that is actually causing problems to a lot of persons, into nervous problems, anxiety, things like depression. All of those things you want to determine. And as you determine all of those things, then you'll be able to start that health journey. Right? So share with me some questions again. We won't be long again. So please, if you have any health questions that you would like to ask, this segment is for you now. So as we go along, I'm just going to share some things here with you. So you're tired of being constipated. This particular machine that you're seeing here, this is actually a test that we do to determines person's circulation. It's what you call a DPA. It's a digital pulse analyzer. So it actually checks the stiffness in the arteries. If a person has any issues with blockages, we'll be able to help to determine some early signs. Of course, an angiogram is the best test when it comes to checking the arteries itself. Okay, what time should be your last meal? Okay, so for that particular question, your last meal should be about 4 hours before bedtime, or at least around 7 to 8 for the latest. Right? You try to make it around that time in your last meal. And can it have okay, right, or can it be light or heavy? I would say a light meal. So in other words, right, so what you start off with a heavy meal in the morning for breakfast. You go a little smaller for lunch and a lighter meal in the evening. You want to have a light meal in the evening because at that time you're getting ready to sleep. You don't want anything to disturb your sleep. Now, I know that there are some person that might be working late and won't have a choice. But what I would say for that particular person, pack something that is light, so that and pack foods that will keep you full. Now, foods that will keep you full is those that will contain heavy amount of fiber. So that's like peas and beans, and also adding maybe some almonds, some walnuts. Those into it, the fat itself that is there will keep you full for a long period of time, so that you don't even have to eat a heavy amount of food. Now, okay, like if you go out late, for example, a wedding. All right, so now you're not going to go to everybody's wedding. So in other words, this is something that's once in a while. Once in a while is not really going to cause a major problem to the human body, okay? But I would say if it's a regular thing, then you have to be careful, all right? So once in a while, like a wedding, okay, no problem. Most weddings will be late, but if you're a person that is very strict, I've known persons like that, very, very strict. They will go out and they will plan properly so that they don't have to go down that road of eating late in a wedding. But then that's a decision that you will have to make. That's why I said you need to understand your body and how it functions. And if you understand how you function, then you'll be able to determine how to go about life. What can someone use to get rid of belly fat? The famous question. The most famous question that you can ever think about. I think this is a question that everybody loves. All right, so to answer that question, normally foods that will cause any heavy amount of triglycerides to build up. Triglycerides are basically fatty acids. So for example, right, let me see if I can help you out there. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, I wanted to show persons what it actually entails. All right, just give me one second. Now, of course, belly fat itself, as I said before, triglycerides build up. It comes from eating heavy amount of sugars. All right, heavy amount of sugars, and of course, certain types of oils as well. So you want to determine the type of oils that you're using. All right, those type of oils will be like corn oil and soybean oils, canola oils. You want to be mindful of those as well. But anybody that actually want to lose belly fat, the number one thing that you want to be careful of is bread. It will always come back to that, because that I have seen definitely cause persons to put on a lot of fat in the stomach area. Okay, you also want to work on exercise as well too. As I said before, like high intensity exercises will be very important for persons who want to lose belly fat. Also too, if you start adding in, let's say like a little warm lemon water on a morning, that also assists as well. Now, I'm not gonna say it's gonna totally help, but it's gonna assist in the process of getting rid of fat. But two things: from the time a person cut the heavy amount of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is like any heavy amount of sugar. So from not from things like yam or dasheen or sweet potatoes, those are healthy to eat. So the less carbohydrates a person uses, the less refined carbs you use. So from the bread, from the juices, cut out the amount of juices. Once you're using a lot of juice, it's going to cause you to put on belly fat. Another thing as well too is you can actually start doing fasting. There's what we call intermittent fasting, where you fast a certain length of hours, and that also have proven to help with getting rid of belly fat as well too. Okay, where can I get this super tonic? All right, so as I said before, you can either come to the Eden Heights Clinic, where you can actually get the super tonic. Let me show you here. All right, so you have our numbers there. You'll see 493-9196. Persons can actually call that number or message, or you can call 640-8985 now to get that that super tonic, and it's excellent for persons that are having issues with colds or cough or any heavy amount of those issues. Right, so let's get those questions coming in again. Great. Right. So we have someone here, a typical example, all right, of what I'm actually speaking of. So cut down on sugar and flour. Definitely, you'll see a reduction in the belly fat. You ever notice something when a person actually gets sick and they stop eating for a certain period of time, automatically they start losing weight generally. So actually doing a little fasting in between the meals is excellent for cutting the amount of fat that builds up in the body. Okay. Or you can do like some persons where they will basically eat like 2 meals a day. They'll eat morning, all right, and then they'll eat in the evening. Some persons I've seen where they actually started this procedure where they eat 1 meal a day. Now, with that particular 1 meal a day, you'll have to make sure that you get in your protein, your healthy fat. So your protein will be from nuts and seeds, from peas and beans. Some persons may still eat little common fowl eggs, or some persons might eat fish to get their protein. But what I would say is stick to as much plant-based proteins as possible as you can, because that generally protects you from kidney issues. You want to be mindful of that. And once you do that, you can actually have 1 meal per day. And that will help you to get rid of a lot of weight from the body. But you need to basically do testing first, and then go ahead into making those changes. So those tests would be like blood tests itself, which we do offer those type of blood tests at the clinic. So we do liver function, kidney function. We do basically a test that's called live blood analysis. Well, that's just for persons to see early signs of any little health complications. They can do that. If you actually look at some of our different services here, so many different services that you can actually look at. Persons who have knee pains, back pains, hip pains, and many other health complications, you can always give us a call. All right. So let me know if there's any more questions, because I'm about to close off this session now. All right, so just giving you a little idea of what you need to do. right? So these are basically your these are your true remedies: proper diet, exercise, use of water, sunshine, temperance, fresh air. Right? Those are the remedies for keeping your body as healthy as it can. Right? So I'll take about 3 more questions and then we'll close up this session. By God's grace, you'll look out for live for around 3 o'clock or 3:30 for the latest, and we'll be dealing with some questions and answers again. Okay, so let me know what's those questions. All right, so we have another question here, and that's actually a great question. I want you to actually try this. You're gonna get 8-ounce glass of water. You're gonna use 8 ounce of glass of water whenever you're experiencing headaches. 8 ounce of glass of water every 10 minutes for about 90 minutes. You're gonna count the amount of water. Most of the time, person get headaches. It forms some dehydration. That's number one. Number two, if you have like a hormonal issue, for example, you may have hormonal imbalance, which is the female hormone, estrogen. There's persons women who have high levels of testosterone. They may have fibroids, they may have cysts. Those are contributing factors for headaches. You may be a person that may have sinus headaches as well, right? Where there's a lot of mucus building up and you get headaches. You may be a person that would have headaches where you cannot be in the glare too often. Those are some of the causes, but one of the main things that you can do is to basically work on dealing with congestion. Now, when a person gets a headache, a lot of blood actually flows to the brain and you get a congestion that takes place. You can try this simple thing at home where you take a bucket and you get a pot with hot water, you throw it into the bucket and you rest your feet in it. What that does, it causes blood to flow down to the feet area, and the congestion in the head itself actually starts to ease up right away. So number one, you're gonna increase your water intake, but you're gonna do it this way. Every time you're experiencing headache, you're gonna take an 8-ounce glass of water every 10 minutes for 90 minutes. And then afterwards, right now you're sipping that slowly. You're not gonna try to, some persons gulp. You're not gonna do like that. You're gonna sip it slowly. That's the first thing you wanna do. The second thing you wanna do, you wanna get that hot water and place the feet in. Now, you don't want to burn yourself. You're going to test that water to see if you'll be able to handle that. And what that does, it stimulates blood flow to the feet area. And as blood flows to the feet, automatically, persons get an ease of headaches as well. So you're going to try those two things, and both of them doesn't cost you enough. Doesn't cost you a lot of money. So try that, and you let me know how that works for you. I used to use, for persons, cayenne pepper. And cayenne pepper stimulates blood flow, and it does help to alleviate any type of like headaches or pain in the body. Right? So I hope that that those two simple remedies work for you. Well, I would like to say thank you to everyone for the questions and for the comments. I will say thank you now. By God's grace, we're going to be back on again at around 3 or 3:30. So you look out for a live, and that live will also be questions and answers. So you're going to share it with your friends and your families, and anybody that wants to learn about simple remedies that you can find in your house, in the kitchen, or wherever, give us a moment of viewing this particular program. All right. So God bless everyone, and I hope that all goes well.